This is a review of the Sunnytech hot air Stirling engine, which is an education toy, a model, a desk ornament, or just a present for a friend or a family member who's a mechanical geek. Inside the box, you'll find this single flywheel engine. You can see here, it's extremely nicely designed. The base is aluminum. On the base, there are rubber feet to keep it from walking around. It has a double shaft system to move two different cylinders. This is the hot air cylinder, and this is the cool air cylinder. As the air inside of this chamber is heated, it pushes back the piston, and when it reaches its furthest extent, it collapses, and this piston here injects cool air into the system to be heated for the next cycle. The device itself is made of aluminum. These plates are aluminum. It's got a pretty good feel to it. It's roughly 20.5 ounces in weight, so it has a good mass to it so it doesn't walk on the table. These three stands here, standoffs, are made of steel, and then this centerpiece here with the pulley system here, the rocker will go back and forth, this is made of brass. The unit as it comes was completely assembled. The exception is you have to take and insert the wick into the cap and put it in the bottle, and you have to fill it with a very good fuel. If you don't burn all the fuel, if you want, you can take it out, which will evaporate pretty quickly, and put a cork in the bottle and keep some fuel in here. This device needs to run on some very good fuel. Here you'll see some denatured alcohol. I want to show this to you because it's 95% efficient, very clean. It's a clean burning fuel. Its flame is almost literally invisible, so you won't hardly see it, so be careful. It is highly flammable, so be careful with that too. If you use a inferior type of alcohol, like say 70% or whatever, it just doesn't run as hot. You're going to get a little bit of soot and smoke. This one here burns so clean, you won't even see the wick turn a color, nor the glass get changed the color from smoke. On the bottom here, you'll see that there are 4 feet to provide stability and to keep the engine from walking when it's running. It does create a little bit of vibration, so those feet keep it from walking across the table. You'll also find these 2 packages. I've unwrapped them. Everything was wrapped very securely so it wouldn't get broken. This is a replacement hot cylinder that goes over this area here. So if you happen to break this or crack it, you can replace it. And this one here is a replacement cylinder for the top here for the cold air injection. The only assembly I had to do was to insert the wick into this top piece. Now I got to fill this reservoir about 60 to 70% full, insert the wick in and light it, and we're ready to run. I'm going to light this flame, and after it runs for about 30 to 50 seconds, it'll get hot enough that you flip this flywheel and that will start the engine running. It will push this piston back, and when it pushes that piston back, this shaft will come back and start the flywheel turning, keep it turning, push this one up, which will push this piston down and inject cold air, which will get heated, push the piston back so it starts the cycle. This thing will run between 1,300 and 1,500 RPMs. It's hard to see, but you can barely see a flame down there. The flame's almost invisible. Just remember that this thing does get pretty hot, so you got to caution children or people or even yourself not to reach over and touch this because it does get warm. I'm now going to try to start this. And now you can see it winding up and how quickly it's moving. You probably can't tell, but it's going faster and faster and faster. This is an amazing machine. I've actually got some of these that are actually attached to small generators that can generate electricity. This was a great concept to replace the steam engine back in its day. It never caught on to any great extent, but it's a very unique device. It was invented in 1815 by Robert Stirling, who was a London pastor, so it was named after him. As I mentioned, this is a dual-cylinder engine with a hot combustion expansion chamber and a cool compression chamber, and it's really what they call external combustion. And you can see it's running and it's not walking across the table. One thing that I don't like so well is that the alcohol bottle tends to move and walk on it. I would have liked to see a little bitty impression for the bottle to sit in. I saw that somebody mentioned putting a magnet in the bottle to hold it in place. It's kind of hard to do when the plate's aluminum, but I need to be careful that it doesn't walk off the table. This external combustion engine is just an amazing toy or desk piece. It's a good conversation model. As I said to you, it's well made. It's made of brass, steel, and aluminum. It's a beautiful design. It's a great example of how ingenuity can take such a simple gas as air to create an engine to create a rotary motion. This type of engine is more efficient and less dangerous than a steam engine. If you want to stop it, you can simply blow out the flame and stop the engine. It'll continue to run for a few seconds and then it'll finally stop. When you want, you can blow out the flame and stop it. The engine will continue to run for about a minute based on the heat that's in residual heat in the glass, but it will slowly slow down and stop. As I mentioned, if you're demonstrating this to children or students in a class, always warn them that it is hot. You know, they see the motion, it's intriguing, they may want to reach out and touch it. The flame is virtually invisible because the alcohol burns so clearly. They can and will get burnt. Also, keep a close eye on this alcohol supply. It will walk across the top of this plate, so you're going to have to watch it. I'm probably going to take and mount a couple of little rubber feet around this area for the bottle so it doesn't walk off the surface and spill the alcohol. Watching this thing run, it's simply fascinating. It's an ingenious machine. I rated it as a 5-star item. I was impressed with the functionality and the quality of the product. I'd like you to know that this review is done by JJ CEO. I was supplied a sample for test and evaluation, and a review was not promised in exchange for the sample, but I stated that if I reviewed the item, my review would be fair and honest.